Welcome to our video, 60 Worst British Football Stadium Riots Part 1, 6031. We hope you enjoy and please feel free to comment. Please look out for Part 2. 60. Middlesbrough v Man United 1999. 5,000 United turn out to Aston Park, but trouble begins inside the ground, and after the match a full-scale riot breaks out with a massive police presence barely containing the two sets of fans. There is even a police video about it all on YouTube. '59. Bristol Rovers v Cardiff 1983. Union Jacks being burned on the terrace, Cardiff in the Bristol end, policeman beating a fan while she was on top of a fence, people trying to break down the fence, policeman fleeing the Cardiff end after being set on, cavalry charges outside. A real eye-opener. 58. Liverpool v Chelsea 1973. An infamous event when Chelsea's headhunters tried to take the Kop. Around 500 headhunters invade the Kop and stay there the whole game according to Chelsea old boys. However, Liverpool fans reject it all as fantasy. I have it on good authority from a Liverpool old boy that this is in fact true. 57. Middlesbrough v Newcastle 1983. Newcastle's NME, Newcastle Man and Line Express, get a good kicking at Aston Park train station by the Borough mob 300 strong led by Cyril the Runner. NME come up with an audacious plan to rush the Borough end and they manage to scatter them. Mayhem for the rest of the match and afterwards. Video shows two sets apart after order restored. Police made 40 arrests and 27 people, including 4 police officers, were treated for injuries at Middlesbrough General Hospital. 56. Spurs v Newcastle 1987. Just a year after the Broadwater Farm riot in London, 10,000 Geordies are in White Hart Lane. Lots of trouble inside the ground, but the major trouble starts after the match. Outside the ground hundreds of local black youths attack them. Fighting lasts for hours, but the NME repel wave after wave of attack. '55. Leicester v Newcastle 1992. Crazy last day of the season with both clubs needing to win for different reasons. Leicester for promotion and Newcastle to avoid relegation. Lots of trouble before and during the match with 3 pitch invasions. As the ref hastily ends the game, all hell breaks free, with both sets of supporters rushing onto the pitch for a free-for-all. Major trouble after the game with 65 arrests. '54. Notts Forest v Spurs 1978. Spurs arrived with 7,000 fans after just getting promoted. Trouble all day with fighting spilling onto the pitch and major disturbances after the match, with the River Trent the scene of much mayhem. 53. Middlesbrough v Man United 1980. Lots of trouble at this match with a Red Army invasion. Unfortunately, Borough's frontline crew went to face United's Red Army as they left the stadium. As the Red Army was trying to get out of some gates, the wall bulged then collapsed, and 2 Borough fans lost their lives. 52. Man United v Liverpool 1972. The Stretford end poured onto the field, charging the Scousers in the scoreboard. It was chaos, and mounted police had to be sent onto the pitch to restore order. '51. Coventry v Nottingham Forest 1978. 50. Stoke v Cardiff 2000. Trouble both inside and outside the ground even though there were over 1,000 police on duty. About 30 fans were arrested. My sources from Wales say that Cardiff had the upper hand this day. 49. Liverpool v Newcastle, FA Cup, 1984. 12,000 Geordies take over Anfield, with a mini-pitch invasion by the NME who fought with local Scousers after walking up to the Kop arms raised. After the match, more violence and many arrests. '48. Newcastle v West Ham 1980. This is the infamous petrol bomb incident, when a real petrol bomb was thrown into the West Ham section, in retaliation for two Newcastle lads getting stabbed and coaches being smashed up during previous clashes between the two firms. West Ham's ICF tried to take the Newcastle home end but are repelled and led away by the police. An old ICF contact told me, "We'll never forget that day. The Strawberry pub has been done. The petrol bomb exploded right next to my friend and me. Outside, bricked, doing every Geordie in sight. A police dog bit me." 47. Swansea v Leeds 1981. Leeds service crew take over Swansea, with 8,000 fans making the journey from Yorkshire. Trouble all day with the Jacks trying to ambush small pockets of Leeds but finding Leeds' numbers just too big. Leeds even tried to burn down the Swansea double-decker stand. 46. Cardiff v Swansea 1983. 5,000 Swansea Jacks invade their Welsh rivals and chaos ensues throughout the day. Fighting on the terraces, the pitch and outside the stadium, with at least 3 pitch invasions. 45. Sunderland v Newcastle 1985. This is an infamous game for good reason. Did the Newcastle take the Sunderland home end? The Fulwell end? From the YouTube video it's clear that Newcastle are in that end, but then the footage jumps to them being escorted to the other end of the ground. Sunderland claim to have completely mullered them during the missing footage and after the game in revenge for a daring plot. '44. Notts Forest v Chelsea 1976. Chelsea's infamous fans took the Forest home end, the Trent end, after ferocious fighting. 4,000 or so Chelsea fans were confronted by a massive Forest firm after the match, and according to one Forest fan present, was like a scene from the Belfast riots, with 9 stabbings recorded, non-fatal, total carnage. Although the only video available is foggy, you can clearly see the Chelsea fans in the Trent stand when Forest score. '43. Scarborough v Wolves 1987. Scarborough's first match in the Football League, and what a shock it must have been, as this was right in the middle of the Subway Army's reign of terror on lower league clubs. Wolves had drifted into Division 4 by this time due to mismanagement of the club, but still had massive support that was causing havoc at nearly every lower league club they visited. Fighting all day at this one, with one Wolves nutter falling through the roof of the terrace. He survived. '42. West Ham v Man United 1967. This is apparently the one and only time the home end, North Bank, of West Ham was taken. The Red Army arrived en masse at 1 p.m. and managed to get into the North Bank. When West Ham arrived, they were locked out and had to enter the South Bank instead. I don't think this was really a taking of an end, as I believe the home fans must at least be present, but anyway, that's the story my West Ham buddies tell me. 41. Wolves v Chelsea 1977, promotion party. An infamous affair, mainly because Chelsea fans were supposed to be banned after causing trouble at previous matches in the old Division 2. But they weren't going to miss this promotion decider, and roughly 5,000 turned up on the Wolves' South Bank. Lots of trouble inside the ground. Both sets of supporters were celebrating on the pitch until it all got rather nasty with running battles on the pitch and outside the ground. My sources tell me the police lost control and the fighting continued for hours. Aston Villa v West Ham 1976. West Ham claimed to have taken the Holt End in 1976. There are numerous accounts of this from West Ham's ICF, all disputed by Villa fans. Cass Pennant mentions it in his book, Cass, where he describes the West Ham youth as being the perpetrators of this attempt. The event was also mentioned in the Hooligans book by Nick Lowes and Andy Nichols. It appears that the ICF, as they are now known, get into the Holt End at 1 p.m. Then at 2:5 all meet up at the back of the Holt End, put on their balaclavas and hats and scream, ICF, attacking from the rear and downwards towards the Villa faithful, some of whom, in turn run for their lives and onto the pitch. Once the Villa reorganized, they attacked from below and managed to press the ICF into a corner of the Holt End, where they were saved by the Old Bill and escorted around into the away enclosure. 39. West Ham v Notts Forest 1977. Much described in the Cass Pennant book ICF, the ICF can't believe it when a big Forest firm of 600 turn up on 2 football specials. Once inside the South Bank, the ICF attack the Forest, creating carnage. The Forest leg in onto the pitch, then try to get into neutral territory. Unfortunately, there isn't any neutral territory, and they are removed from the ground for their own safety. The song heard around the ground was, to the tune of Q Sarah Sarah, whatever will be, why did you leave the ground, at 10-3. Apparently, the last anyone saw of the Forest mob, was waiting to get back on their trains at 3 p.m, so they all missed the game. This has been verified by Forest fans on their forum. 38. Wolves v Chelsea 1978. An infamous event for Wolves fans. The story goes that Chelsea's firm was in the South Bank at Molineux. At the time the Wolves firm were also in the South Bank and they were separated by a high metal fence, so they obviously couldn't get at each other. Knowing this, Chelsea left the South Bank with about 15 minutes to go and went round to the North Bank where they were let in by someone and they created havoc, forcing fans to get crushed in a mini Hillsborough situation. Many fans were crushed, and Wolves fans have since forever criticised Chelsea's firm for not attacking them in the South Bank, but rather going round to the easy target, the North Bank, where there were mainly older non-hooligans, women and kids. Forum member Wolfie4 ever told us, when hundreds of Chelsea fans poured into the North Bank, the only option was to go. There was no resistance left to take him on now that Wolves' hardcore followers had moved to the South Bank. 37. Chelsea v Millwall 1995, Cup. Chelsea's hardliners attempted a pitch invasion but were pushed back by riot police mounted on horses. Millwall got run out of the West Stand, so had to regroup in the North Stand, then try and retrieve their reputation in the surrounding streets after the match, resulting in more chaos. Derby v Leeds 1983. Derby fan, Brad, recalls, Derby v Leeds was absolute carnage that year, all Derby's fault for putting Derby and Leeds in same end. Soon as we got in and Derby's below us throwing coins and taunting Leeds, I knew what was gonna happen, seats were chucked on pitch. Fans fighting and pitch invasions to get away from the trouble. Total carnage. 35. Birmingham v Stoke 1992. The Zulus invade the pitch several times and try to get to the Stoke lads behind the fencing but without success. Lots of fighting after the game and lots of arrests. 34. Cardiff v Millwall 1999. The city centre was cordoned off after fighting between the two sets of firms. Millwall fans at the match smashed open a gate to confront the Soul crew but were beaten back into the stand by sheer weight of numbers. Once back inside the stand, Millwall were given a torrid time, with many fans trying to climb over the fence to safety, with thousands of Cardiff fans attacking them. Leeds v Man City, FA Cup, 1978. Several Man City fans try to take the Kop, the home end of Leeds, much to the anger of the Leeds lot, who seek revenge during and after the match. Lots of fighting ensues. Newcastle v Notts Forest, FA Cup, 1974. Newcastle fans invade and run to the Forest end, who also get onto the pitch. After running battles, police can't restore order, and he is forced to abandon the match, which had to be replayed. The trouble continued outside the ground for some time. Derby v Chelsea, 1983, FA Cup. 5,000 Chelsea fans causing all sorts of problems, throwing seats and coins and fighting the Derby fans and the police who have to enter their section of the ground. Even a pitch invasion and fighting on the pitch. Thank you for watching part 1, 6131, of our 60 Worst British Football Stadium Riots Part 1. Look out for part 2 by subscribing so you get notifications when video is out.